Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about the Dr.Wu, and this is Megatron, and the transformation version of Megatron in the purple. And we're going to talk about these. These are tiny little ones. These are sub-legends. What are they, like quarter of the size of legends? Possibly. But I'm really kind of curious when it transforms into a gun, does it fit in Starscream's hand over here? So we're going to be testing that out. I really don't know yet. We'll find that out if I can pull it off. A kind of bit of a fascination with things that can transform and mass shift, and a transforming item that can be utilized in your masterpiece display. We'll find out if this is possible here. Maybe, maybe not. But I did get this at showzstore.com. I have a link down below where you can get both of these and enter TH reviewer code, helps channel out. Let's get into taking a look at both of these guys and how they work. Coming up. All right, here's the packaging. Not really anything all that special, but it is some interesting artwork, and it's better than just like a plain, boring box. You got something on there on every side of this packaging, and there it goes. That's the box. All right, here they go. This is kind of a dual wielding review. They both look pretty good. Now, that's the first thing I want to say, is that they're really small and yet they look really good. So getting that in mind, let's straighten his arms out. And the only for messing with these so far, the only complaint I really have, and it's kind of a silly one, it is the side flaps are really long. And I know that is because it's a filler piece. It is a filler piece. And when you get this small, I mean, I can't imagine them making that any smaller and doing what it does. But it's the only thing that looks kind of weird. Everything else looks pretty good. And the exposed ball joint there, it is what it is. I'm part of the transformation, of course. But is there a way they could have done it and just had kind of the same way they do with this hinge right here? And then it does kind of make it a little bit challenging for him wielding this properly. So if this was a ball joint, he would be able to move his arm differently because it's a ball joint, but it's not a ball joint. There we go. Get that back on there. Anyhow, that is a little unsightly. On the ball joint, you could always just move it like that, get it out of the way if you wanted to. And there it is. But that looks a little bit funky too. So you got an exposed ball joint. You can always just keep the arm in some sort of a pose, and that also gets rid of the visible ball joint. But I'm nitpicking on a super ultra tiny figure. I mean, that is kind of like, what a jerk move, Mike. It's a tiny little figure. No need to nitpick it, but let's go ahead and do this here. We're looking at both of them in the same light. And I'm going to show you some different things that I've noticed on the purple one as we go through, but kind of getting through this. Now, mine's an EX. So I guess I should have pointed that out before, or the X version. So it's the toy version. I did not go with the cartoon version. I wanted the more silvery look to it, because I'm actually more concerned about the gun mode than I am about the bot mode. So this is my ultimate end goal, my end game. My end goal is the gun mode, and I'm going to try to make it work with what I want it to do in my display. Yeah, at all costs. We'll see. Anyhow, there it is. Let's get a look at some accessories. Evidently, when Dr. Wu made this for me, he was saying, you know, we really only care about the gun mode, Mike. So these do not do the gimmick where it makes a stand and you could have that gun, which I never use that gimmick anyway. So it's not something I care about. But I just kind of figured it would be something easy, like real easy, just to make this more flat. But it says it's curved, so it doesn't stand very well. And this here doesn't clip, that does not clip into it. So I really thought it'd be a real simple, easy thing to do, just to have like a tab and a hole or some way to slot those in. And yeah, it seems like a simple thing, but it didn't get done, and not a big deal. And then we have these cannons which pop off, and during the transformation, you end up, I think, reversing it and putting it on like this or something along those lines during the transformation. But anyhow, get that back on there. Still, pretty cool stuff for this figure. We're going to see more of it in gun mode. Now, for this purple guy, I didn't really go into like the paint apps on this one, but he's got the little hairy chest paint apps, and then the abdominal waist paint apps, and then super silver down here. But the purple guy actually does have some paint apps on him, so he's not just clear. He's got some paint going on there, which is kind of cool. And some of the stuff is not clear, so it's not all clear plastic. So his chest, his barrel. So I'm guessing once he's transformed, it'll feel like the whole gun's clear. And I'm not sure if they did that so that parts aren't going to break, make it a little stronger and reinforced. It's a possibility that that's why they did it, but not 100% sure. Anyway, still kind of cool, kind of interesting. Let's get into a few of the transformations. Wait, it's not time for the transformation. We got to compare this. We got to do comparisons. Are comparisons the most important part? Yes, I think so. I really do. Kind of, how does it stand in your collection? And so the difference between Legends, and I'm going to show you, it literally is a quarter of the size of a Legends figure. That's how small they are. And I really feel like it's even smaller than what we got before. All right, so this is actually MPH. And so it is taller than MPH. They are kind of in the same scale, but I would think Warpath would be a little shorter than that to them. I'm okay with Warpath being that size, by the way. I'm perfectly fine with it. I'm not upset at all. I'm just saying that in this scale, you'd expect Warpath to probably come up to here. But anyhow, just kind of showing you what's going on with size and scale and all that good stuff. And in comparison to the world's smallest Transformers. Yes, this is the world's smallest Transformers. And it's based off very similar to a G1 look to it. And it is bigger than the world's smallest Transformer, that's for sure. I kept this one because I wanted it as like a gun for someone to hold in the Masterpiece collection. I just, we'll see the comparison when we get to the gun mode. But there it is. And this is the one I most recently reviewed, which is pretty cool. Core Class. Core Class is not the size of Legends either. Now for the transformation, it's interesting. It's not super difficult, but we're going to fold this up, fold down his hand, like so. On this other side, we're going to fold his arm out, fold this up, flip his arm around, and then we're going to flip this piece up, but then we're going to also flip this around. We have to fold up the hand, and then there we go. This is going to be the faux trigger / trigger guard. Now, at this point, let's go ahead and fold out these flaps. See, again, I can't see. Maybe they could have done them in half. I don't see how they could have made it much smaller, but so fold those flaps. Then this is similar to what we just saw with that last Megatron that turned into a gun. There we go. As you can see, it's doing that. This folds out. Then make that barrel. We're going to come around here. We're going to open this up. Fold the head in. The head is in place. Ready to go. Then this part here is going to fold down. Let's go ahead and twist the waist. This folds down, and then there's some tabs to tab in. Now this ball joint for this trigger piece is, it's going to pop off a lot because it's only like a 60% ball joint socket there. This is going to close, and now we have the front of it done. Now getting into the legs, we are going to, and I haven't figured out what's better, to rotate this first or rotate the leg first. So I've done both. And it works the same for both, but we're just going to rotate that, rotate the leg, and then tab that in right here, and then this is going to fold down once you get it all into place. And you should be able to do it where the red's not exposed. I would hope that the red's not exposed permanently. But there it is. It looks like a little red exposure there on that. Let's do the other side, and then we'll put the trigger guard back on. All right, same thing. We can fold this around, and then we're going to have to fold this back as we're going. And then tab that in, and then they're going to tab to each other. So I guess that red is going to be exposed no matter what you do. There's no real way around that. It's going to have a hollowness down there because that's the connection point to the rear stock there. All right, let's push all this in. Let's get this reinserted. It's not fun when that falls off, but it is what it is. And then this actually will tab into this and solidify that. Put this back on. Then we're going to put all these other pieces here on, like this and like this. And now we're going to be able to do a couple of, well, take a look at this, do a little comparing. Does it fit in Starscream's hand? I don't know, it's big. I'm going to say from this side, it looks the best. You do see some red in it, but it looks the best. It's not a bad looking gun. Tiny little transformation. This side you have the abs, exposed abs. Now, I know a lot of dudes that work really hard on their abs want to expose them all every chance they get. So I guess Megatron has that problem. He wants to always show his abs off, but there we go, and there it is. And so that's not bad looking. I mean, for a Walther P38, it looks good. Man from U.N.C.L.E. Be Proud. Here we go over here, and the clear one. So the clear one, it is interesting. I really kind of think that it is more for the transformation. In the movie when he goes from Megatron to Galvatron, you know, he's the same guy. Well, this is kind of the way I see it, but it is cool to have both, though. It really is kind of cool to have that clear purple one too in there. Now, I didn't go with the cartoon version of it. I wanted a more silvery look, and now that I'm looking at it, though, I think the cartoon one it would be all gray, so you wouldn't see the red in it. So that would be a plus on the cartoon one. But I do kind of, I don't know, I kind of like the silvery finish, the extra touches that it gets because it's the toy version, and especially like the silvery paint there. I just think that it's a slightly different color than you would have gotten with the cartoon one. But, you know, how small is it? Let's see the world's smallest Transformer. Now it's time to compare it to the world's smallest Transformer, and it actually looks like a pretty good size gun. Almost the same size. Now, the handle is thinner on the world's smallest Transformer, but the scope is smaller on this one, and it's a little longer, but yeah, I mean, it's kind of impressive how much bigger this is than this, but it turns into that. And I will say that this is a cleaner looking gun mode because the G1 gun was really clean. I didn't push in the feet, so pushing the feet. The transformation is very similar to G1, but not exactly the same. But very, very similar on this world's smallest one. But yeah, for this one here, now, will it fit in Starscream's hand? That's the new question. Does it fit in Starscream's hand? Let's see. And it's a bit big, actually, to fit in Starscream's hand. But through the power of a rubber band, this really isn't ideal or anything, but I'm able to get it to work. I am actually able to get this to work. It's called a hair tie. It's my wife I don't think she really uses them anymore. She just had a bag of them, and you get them in the hair supply department. You can get colorful ones, but I just like the black ones. They just fit in really well with the color scheme, and you can't even tell it's on there. Looks like he's holding it, but he's not really holding it, but it looks like he's holding it. Still, it's a cool little effect. It's something, if you want to do it, you can. Just the fact that you know it transforms, it mass shifts. See, that's the thing. For me, I know it mass shifts, and like, oh, it's gonna fly out of Starscream's hand, and then he's gonna turn into MP36, which, because nobody else seems to want to do a Megatron. Although I heard of an Apollyon 2.0 coming from X-Transbots, we don't really know, but it's kind of cool. Oh, his trigger got all messed up. His trigger got triggered. Oh, there it goes. But yeah, so it depends on what you want to do if you're interested in this kind of thing, and get a little tiny little rubber band to hold it on. You can make it work, but it's not going to work like you'd expect. You're saying, well, Mike, what does the world's smallest Transformers one look like? Oh, good idea. So I know what you're thinking. This makes absolutely no sense, Mike, that he would do this, because there's not 2 Megatrons. There's only one. But I do still think the World's Smallest Transformer is a nice looking gun mode, but it doesn't come with the attachments. It never did. I mean, I've still got the box. It never came with the attachments. So if you missed out on that and you want something like this, it's kind of cool. Anyway, this is what I thought. Just be honest, when you saw this on Show-Z Store, you knew this is what you wanted it to do. Or at least I did. Alright, so let me know what you guys think about these Dr.Wu Megatrons, the Transformation version purple, and the X version for the toy. And I just realized putting the purple one on that not just the rubber band is what's holding it in place, but the stock and the way it's held there is how it's held in place. So you might not get a whole lot of poses out of it the way I'm doing it. I've only got this one pose, and that's all I would need. Anyway, I did get this ShowZStore.com. They're not intended for Starscream to hold, but I've used TH reviewer code. Enough fun for today. I'm going to go edit this thing and get it up. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, subscribe. Teddy Hanger out.
Once Decepticons nearly held the quadrant through terror. Now we scrap like slargs over a few energon cubes.
In the days of Megatron, it was not like this.
You mean Galvatron?
Well, they were the same guy.